So are you? Walked slowly to King Song Dao Ren's side, smiling. Senior brother King Song, how did you see that Tia Bai is going to win? King Song Dao Ren glanced at So are you, a faint smile appearing on his previously expressionless face, saying, Junior sister Su, are you teasing me again? So are you shook her head with a smile. I wouldn't dare to joke around with you. I'm genuinely asking for your opinion. King Song Dao Ren chuckled. Junior sister Su, you've always been clever, far superior to this incompetent senior brother of mine. There's no need to be so modest. Although the blood-seeking elder's cultivation is not low, and he has the blood skull with him, it seems formidable with the blood red light. But looking closely, although the momentum is fierce, his main magical weapon is slightly damaged at the upper right corner. This might not be a big deal on ordinary days. With this villain's cultivation, he can refine it slightly when he returns, and it will be fine. But now, facing senior brother Tia, it's his biggest flaw. Pausing here, a hint of coldness flashed in his eyes, but his voice remained calm. Looking at senior brother Tia, calm and unhurried. He can already control the Crimson Flame Divine Sword with the Qingyun method, even summoning the true Crimson Fire Dragon. Although the Blood Skull's red light is dazzling, when it encounters the true Crimson Fire Dragon, it retreats at the touch. Already no match for it. Furthermore, senior brother Tian's gaze is sharp, relentlessly attacking the upper right corner of the blood skull. Although the blood-seeking elder seems arrogant, he is actually at a disadvantage and will undoubtedly be defeated. I wonder if junior sister Su thinks I'm wrong. So are you smiled. Senior brother has a discerning eye. I only knew after hearing your analysis. King Song Dao Ren smiled faintly, turned his head, looked up at the sky, suddenly lowered his voice, but his tone was still calm. Junior sister Su. So are you asked, what is it? Senior brother King Song Dao Ren still kept his eyes on the intense battle in the sky, but his voice was clear and distinct. Ever since senior brother Tia broke through the upper clear realm of the Taiji Shuangqing Dao 100 years ago, it seems that his Taoism has made remarkable progress again these years, doesn't it? Su Ru's heart trembled, but she didn't show it on her face. Smiling, senior brother King Song, you're too kind. How could Bai have the talent of our sect master, and you ... King Song Dao slowly shook his head, a hint of a smile playing at the corners of his mouth as he said, 100 years ago, our righteous sects once defeated the demonic sect with one move. Tiashidi, Zingshidi from Fangui Peak, Shengshidi from Chaoyang Peak, and Wen from Changmen ... Suddenly, Su Ru softly called out. Senior brother King Song Daoist's body trembled slightly, as if he remembered something. He nodded and continued. We pursued several demon heads deep into the wilderness during that time. It was then that Tiashidi had already broken through to the upper clear realm, when that person said to us that although Tiashidi may seem dull, he is actually wise and exceptionally resolute. His future in Taoist cultivation is limitless. With a smile, he added, Sister Su, you also know that person. Considering his insights and judgments, I believe you have no doubts. So Ru smiled faintly. It remained silent, only turning her head to gaze at the sky. The blood-devouring demon in midair roared fiercely, its appearance ferocious, yet its heart was growing more and more alarmed. 100 years ago, he had once fought against Tia Bai. At that time, although Tia Bai's cultivation was not low, the blood-devouring demon was confident in defeating him with his blood-seeking technique. However, 100 years later, in their renewed confrontation, Tia Bai's cultivation had advanced by leaps and bounds. The fire dragons conjured from the Qingyun immortal sword clashed relentlessly with the ghostly blood glow emitted by his blood skeleton, gradually gaining the upper hand. What was even more troublesome was not just this. During their battle with Zhang Xiaofan earlier, although he seemed like a junior of the Qingyun Sect, the five ghost-suppressing spirit formation he inexplicably broke was a testament to his abilities. In fact, it was understandable why the blood-devouring demon couldn't figure it out. His blood skeleton was originally a thing of ghostly power. If it encountered some supreme divine weapons rumored in the righteous sects, such as Lu Zweki's Chan Yao divine sword, it would naturally have some trouble with his cultivation and knowledge. he would naturally be more cautious. However, Zhang Xiaofan's weapon, the burnt corpse stick, was indeed strange. From head to toe, it exuded no aura of a divine weapon. Truly speaking, due to its heavy malevolent aura, it was more akin to the sinister artifacts of the blood-devouring demon. After the blood-devouring demon glanced at it, he didn't pay it much mind. Unexpectedly, the other half of Zhang Xiaofan's burnt corpse stick, the soul-seizing aspect, was an unparalleled, evil object refined from the souls of ghosts and spirits over thousands of years. The ancestor of all ghostly creatures in the world. When Zhang Xiaofan activated it with his own blood during their fierce battle and inserted it into the body of his blood skeleton, it instantly annihilated the blood skeleton completely, more straightforwardly than any divine weapon. Under normal circumstances, the blood-devouring demon would at most be surprised. After all, Zhang Xiaofan's Taoist cultivation was far from his own. When he unleashed his family's trump card, Zhang Xiaofan was no match. However, when he faced Tiabai, whose cultivation was not only not lower than his own, but also seemed to have the upper hand, the small hidden danger became apparent. Both the 5 ghost-suppressing spirit formation and the blood-sucking technique were powered by the blood skeleton. When one of the ghostly powers was suddenly broken, the blood skeleton itself suffered minor damage. At this moment, it had become the blood-devouring demon's greatest danger. Tiabai had been the head of the Dazhu peak of the Qingyun Sect for nearly 100 years. Not only was his cultivation far superior to Zhang Xiaofan's, but his insight, combat experience, were also 100 times better. After just a few rounds of fighting, he could see that there was a flaw in the blood-devouring demon's blood skeleton. He immediately directed all his force towards it. Initially, it wasn't much, but as time went on, the blood-devouring demon felt increasingly overwhelmed. In the sky, the fire dragon roared, its teeth and claws dancing. The giant skeleton transformed by the blood-devouring demon gradually dimmed. While the flames were so intense that they dyed the entire night sky red, the blood-devouring demon felt bitter in his heart, regretting his overconfidence. He had thought that after 100 years of painstaking cultivation, apart from a few top figures in the righteous sects, he had nothing to fear from the others. He had secretly inquired before coming here, knowing that none of the people he deeply feared had arrived, so he felt at ease. However, 100 years later, Tiabai's cultivation had advanced so rapidly. In his anxiety, he unintentionally glanced downward and was shocked once again. He saw figures moving on the ground, probably more than dozens of them. Judging from their attire, most of them were from the righteous sects, and among them were several familiar faces. Especially Kang Song Dao was standing at the forefront. He was one of the Qingyun Sect members who had pursued him back then. The blood-devouring demon felt even colder at this moment, immediately planning to leave.